starting point, of course, was Chris Ryan's novel, Strike Back, which I saw racked up in in Stansted Airport, actually, on the way out to see a friend, and I bought it. And I sort of read the jacket and sort of dived into the book. I thought it was exactly the sort of thing I was looking to do.
When I read it, I straight away thought, you know, most people do get excited with actions, helicopters, guns, and yes, it is, you know, that's exciting to play with, but it's just a backdrop. And in front of that, and in the middle of that, are these kind of relationships and these human beings that try to exist in extraordinary circumstances. And I think that's what makes it interesting dramatically.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go!
The series begins with a firefight set in Basra in 2003, and I go alongside 4 special forces, of which Richard is one of them.
He is a killing machine. He's SAS. He came through the military from about the age of 19. His father was in the military. He has older siblings who were also in the military. He's got to a point in his career where he's probably the best he's ever going to be.
Shoot him! Go! Shoot him! What's the hold up?
This catastrophic thing happens when he's in an operation in Basra, and he fails to kill a child who has a bomb strapped to him, which one would perceive to be a heroic act in terms of military, because that child then went on to effectively kill 3 members of his team. It was deemed a failure, so he had to retire. His career fell apart, and that's the beginning of the story of Porter.
And the interesting thing with John Porter, Richard's character, is that he has to be calm within the midst of these war zones. So he has this, that's why he's so proficient, because he doesn't get emotionally involved. He's an automaton. He's not a cold-blooded killer, but he operates very calmly under great duress, which is why he's so good.
With John Porter, we have a really good hero. You know, he's played by Richard. It's quite silent. It's quite quiet. Quite determined.
You know, it's 6 episodes, but each episode is a double episode. So you've got 3 movies. You've got a collection of characters that you can relate to and follow on this sort of incredible journey.
The logistics for this show are on an enormous scale. I mean, it's helicopters landing on rooftops, it's huge explosions, it's large battle sequences. We have action on a huge scale, but sometimes I think television and film can be over-conscious of trying to show their money on screen. It's all there, the cameras are rolling, everything's happening, but very often the focus will be on the character in the foreground, not on the explosion behind. And what that does is it draws you into a much more intimate human experience.
Steve! Steve! Water! Where are the other men? Collinson! Where's Mike and Keith? Fuck! They're dead! Water!
The interaction between Porter and Collinson has been very much affected by that kind of relationship. It's cowboys and Indians in the playground, but without detracting from the seriousness of what we're trying to do.
Keep each other as close as they can, you know, keep your friends close, you know, your enemies even closer.
John, it wasn't your fault.
What did he say to me?
What do you kid? The boy that I hit. What exactly did he say to me? Baftik bi hayati. It's an Arabic saying. I lay my life for your sake. It's a death of honor.
Both these men are locked in one single event that happened in a stairwell in the first 10 minutes of the film. And it will last for the entire 6 hours, the resolution of what really happened in the stairwell, as Layla says to Porter at the end of episode 4.
I need to know what happened during the Bratton extraction in 2003.
Where's my Yuki? Where's my Yuki?
need to trust the people my life depends on. There's history between you and Collinson.
Well, Layla works for Section 20 and is sort of the second in command from Collinson. And she's a very kind of ambitious, very driven woman in a, you know, obviously a kind of predominantly male-dominated kind of environment. She is, you know, kind of very sharp and someone who's quite tough and, you know, doesn't take any nonsense. And she has a very kind of sceptical opinion of Porter at first because he hasn't sort of risen through the ranks or come through the system in the way that most people in his in the position he ends up in normally would.
You didn't think it worth mentioning that Porter's been off active duty for nearly 8 years, has borderline post-traumatic stress disorder, a 10% weakness in one arm, and what effectively amounts to a dishonourable discharge.
Layla, we have nothing.
Jodie May has been absolutely fantastic. She brings something so cerebral to that character, and has turned Layla into a really interesting woman who can be both political and active in, you know, the theatre of war, and I think that's a real achievement.
Alpha team, this is Section 20.
Lieutenant,
Section 20, please.
My God, Frankie!
The entire building's just come up, sir. I can't see them. I can't see Alpha team.